Good afternoon, Texans fans. Let's get this week 17 roundup kind of going. As I told you on the last video, I was at the Browns versus Texans game, hard L. Have a lot of footage from that. I will get that out eventually. I'm just still working on it. So let's just talk with the most pressing news first. Jimmie Ward out for the season, safety for the Texans. He is on IR with a quad injury. And we have just picked up Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson's been in the league since 2010. Great safety for the Broncos. You may know him because he gets fined a lot. A lot of quote unquote dirty hits or whatever. But he's back with the Texans. He was in the Texans earlier. He was played with the Texans when J.J. Watt was there. So I think this is a good signing. Obviously, without Jimmie Ward, you need someone. You need someone in that secondary. And obviously, looking at how they got cooked against the Browns, you really need someone in the secondary. So expect Kareem Jackson to get a lot of minutes. Word on the street is that he was happy with the decision. He's glad to be back and he's ready to play with us and try to turn the secondary around for our final two games. So about this Kareem Jackson thing, look, man, as long as he plays in these two games, I will see it as a W. We don't have Ward. Regardless of what your thoughts on Ward and Nelson are, personally, they get cooked a lot, in my opinion. They're veteran leaders. They've been in the league or they've been around for a long time, but they get cooked a lot. They've made some great plays, but recently, especially, they've kind of struggled. Kareem Jackson, I think, another veteran presence. You really need him in there. He's a hard hitter. He's been fined a lot. But, I think it's a good acquisition. I think he will make the team better. And, it's just exciting to have him back as a Texans fan. And it's exciting to hear how excited he is to be back in what is like 13th or 14th season. So, overall, great signing. Definitely was wondering what, the Texans front office was going to be doing to fix this issue because, wow, we got cooked against the Browns. Cooked. So let's kind of segue into that topic, the Browns game. Wow, I was there. It was 36-7 in the fourth quarter. On Mills finally entering the game, he went 3-and-out and then scored two touchdowns in 2 minutes. There seemed to be some Christmas miracle potentially in the works, which got cut short by the Browns recovering another onside kick. We recovered the first one, and then eventually going down there and not scoring, but taking enough time off the clock to where it was almost impossible. And Davis Mills gets back in there. We're not able to score, turn it over on downs. They take the knee, game over. So let's talk about this Browns game. One thing I will say right off the bat, Joe Flacco played amazing. Case Keenum did not. I think it might have been one of the worst games Case Keenum's ever played in his career. 36 passing yards, and I was at the game. I was close enough to where I was by the Texans bench. I could see the players' reactions and even hear them, when they were talking to coaches. When I tell you, man, Case Keenum was playing scared. It was like he was told that they had a great defense, or knew that. Obviously, they do. And he was scared. He was holding onto the ball way too long. He was taking really long sacks he should have never taken. And it just looked like almost like you threw just a rookie college quarterback in to play an NFL player's job. It was just, he had no confidence. He was super scared. It was super frustrating. And this is annoying because he played really well against the Titans. Against the Titans, he was able to get that momentum going. I don't want to say he played really well, but like compared to how he played against the Browns, he played really well, right? Obviously, towards the end of the game, we're all thinking, well, why wasn't Davis Mills the starter? And this was honestly a Davis Mills revenge game because while Case Keenum played really poorly and played really scared, Davis Mills came in there with a chip on his shoulder. He came in there like he was ready to prove something. And when he came in, he was making plays. He was scoring touchdowns. He was moving the ball. The first time we entered Texans territory, I believe was with Browns territory. I believe was with Mills. It might have been with Keenum on like a Singletary run. I don't remember exactly. But we hadn't even crossed the 50-yard line until like the end of the third quarter. Like that's how bad this game was for our offense. It was disgusting. So as much as I want to harp on the Texans secondary and our cornerbacks and our safeties, it's kind of like, well, they're on the field 80% of the time. We can't do anything but go 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Case Keenum's playing like a high school quarterback. It was like, well, I can't really get on them too much. It's like, what is happening to our team? One week we look extremely good. We look like we're battling through adversity. And the next week we just get demolished. We get destroyed. And again, credit to the defense, credit to Joe Flacco making plays, Amari Cooper. But wow, it was an embarrassing loss. The score, it was a lot closer than I believe the game obviously was. I mean, it was 36-7 in the fourth quarter. It could have very well ended like that. We got a bit lucky with Davis Mills playing as well as he did. Just another embarrassing blowout. I know it wasn't really a blowout, but it should have been a blowout. And so yeah, talking about that secondary, man. Obviously, if you haven't heard, Petrie got benched. He wasn't injured, and he got benched. We saw a couple of the D backs. I think it was Petrie arguing with the coaches. So they were arguing with their assistant coach. Again, when you're watching the game and you're on the field, not on the field, but there, you see so many other interactions you don't see when you watch just on the TV. And so I was seeing Petrie. I think it was Petrie, but obviously there was a lot of frustration happening, and there was a lot of talk back to the coaches. So I don't know if Petrie was benched because of the way he played. That obviously could have been part of it, but it could have also been because he talked back. Regardless of the fact, the end of the line is Ward's out. Petrie will play. Petrie might not start. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but he's going to play a lot. Kareem Jackson's going to play a lot. They're going to try to do things. I'm more upset at the fact that we let Amari Cooper drop 262 yards on us. Amari Cooper by himself had more yards than our whole offense did. And I get defense playing out there 80% of the game. But, and I've been thinking about this. Why wasn't Derek Stingley matched up on Amari Cooper for the whole game? Why are we putting Steven Nelson and Jimmie Ward on Amari Cooper when on the first play of the game, Jimmie Ward proved he is a liability in coverage deep? He is a freaking liability. He gets beat, 53-yard gain to Amari Cooper. Nelson kind of just stands there looking at it, jumping up and down, annoyed. He doesn't help make a play, or maybe try to take the ball out. What are we doing? Genuinely, what are we doing with that secondary? If I was D'Amico Ryans, I would take our best athlete on the team, not just on the defense. I would take our best athlete on our team, and I would lock him up with Amari Cooper. And that way, if we get beat, at least they beat our best and not our older, no disrespect, but our older players who have proven they can't hang in coverage. It almost feels like there's a bit of buddy ball happening between D'Amico and Ward, obviously, because Ward was there in the fourth. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm like, let's take our most athletic dude and put him on their best receiver. I get we don't play man a lot. We play a lot of zone. I get there's other things that go into it, different formations, blah, 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 blah. The one time I think Stingley got beat was on a crucial fourth down, and by Cooper, Joe Flacco throws an out route, and Cooper barely catches it. I mean, the coverage was perfect. It was an amazing play by Stingley, just a better play by Joe Flacco and Amari Cooper. Other than that, I don't think Stingley got worked on that much at all. And he had a pick, for crying out loud. He had a pick. Houston Carson had a pick. Like, what? I was really disappointed with our secondary. I know Grenard went out, so we were giving Joe Flacco a lot of time to make plays and whatnot. But to me, it just felt like our secondary fell apart. Our offense fell apart. It's sad how crippled our offense is without C.J. Stroud. It really is sad. But then again, Davis Mills went in there. I know they're playing back. Maybe their starters aren't in, whatever. The fact of the matter is Davis Mills scored 2 touchdowns in under 5 minutes, and probably under 3 minutes he scored 2 touchdowns. And our starter for that game, Case Keenum, can't throw a completion for more than 10 yards. Why was Case Keenum still in the game after the half? It's disgusting, dude. Disgusting. They needed to have Case Keenum on a leash about that long. And as soon as he got off that leash, you sit him and you put in Mills. I don't care. Case Keenum hasn't proven anything with his win against the Titans. It took, Case Keenum should never play that long. Both of his interceptions, fine. The first one, not his fault, whatever. The second one, completely his fault. Horrible. And it just sucks. Maybe if we start Mills in the game, maybe we win because we're, pushing the ball more on offense and our defense is getting rested. I mean, the Browns didn't even have a kicker. That obviously worked for them in their favor because they got every fourth down. But could you imagine the Browns with a kicker? It would have been horrible. Would have been like 40 whatever to 7. I mean, just ridiculous, man. So obviously a tough loss. Now let's talk about the future real quick and segue into that. The good news is everybody in the AFC South lost. So before I come off as saying our playoff chances are ruined, I'm not saying that at all. Everybody in the AFC South lost. Not only that, but the Jags are not going to have Trevor Lawrence against the Patriots. I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's the Patriots. You know, who's going to lose to the Patriots? The Broncos lost to the Patriots. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were saying the Broncos would make the playoffs. They lost to the Patriots by a field goal. The Jags have lost, what, 4 in a row? They were 8-3, and now they're 8-6, or they're 8-7 now. Jags have lost 4 in a row with Trevor Lawrence. And I feel bad for Trevor, man. I mean, at some point, when are you just going to take the L and bench Trevor for a week? He's been getting injured every other week, every week. Like, what are we doing over there? But anyway, the point is, I forgot their backup's name, but you're going to have a backup Jacksonville quarterback playing against a New England team coming off of a major win and a Jags team coming off 4 losses. It's not like, you know, we have no film on this backup quarterback. This backup quarterback played in the Bengals loss. So the Patriots will be looking at that film, hopefully. And Belichick's Belichick, you know. He gets a lot of flag, but Belichick's still Belichick. So the way it boils down is if the Jaguars lose this week or next week and the Texans win out, we will win the division. Because our record will be tied with the Colts, or it'll be better than the Colts, and we'll have a 1-1. We'll be 1-1 against the Colts. Whatever the math works out to, I had it in my head, I forgot it. We will be above the Colts, and we will obviously be above the Jaguars because they will have lost. So we'll be top in the division. As soon as we host a playoff game, which is crazy. Very, very doable with CJ Stroud coming back, Will Anderson potentially coming back. Very doable. If we win out and the Jags win out, we still make the playoffs because the Colts, we will have beaten the Colts and worsened their record. So the chance to make the playoffs is there. We really control our own destiny, as people are saying on Twitter. We just have to win out. We have to beat the Titans again, which, knock on wood, I'm not too worried about that game, especially if we're healthier. But who knows, man? Who knows? Need Grenard back for sure. And then the Colts. The Colts is going to be a tough game. The Colts is essentially, that game's going to be a playoff game. It's a playoff game. I mean, these have really all been playoff games, but that will literally boil down to the definition of a playoff game. Like, you make the playoffs or you don't, based on the Colts game. So, I mean, that's pretty much what's laid out before us. Sorry this took a while to get up. I've been dealing with Christmas and all that stuff. Hopefully y'all had a great Christmas. I know I did. So that's the Week 17 outlook for the Texans. Hopefully we make the playoffs, man. Hopefully we pull through. But it's still been a crazy year. Comment down below anything I missed, anything you want to talk about, because I would be willing and more than willing to talk about it, comment about it. So, yeah, that's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Go Texans, and hopefully we pull out these wins, man. Hopefully we pull out these wins. So, thank you all for watching, and peace out.